how to learn new words in a new language, a beginner's guide. So I'm not going to waste your time. Basically, this video is going to be teaching you how you can actually learn words in a language that you're learning. So you probably do find learning new words and remembering them very difficult. It's supposed to be. That's how it is for me as well whenever I'm learning anything in Russian, which is the language I'm currently learning. But basically, by the end of this video, you will know how to do it. And because I'm going to teach you the input repetition method, which is what I use. It is probably the best method. It's what I use. So yeah, if you do like these educational style videos, guys, do hit the subscribe button and make sure you stick around until the end for a bonus. But yeah, let's go. So I'm not going to waste your time. How to learn a lot of new words. Words in a language are called vocabulary. And in order to speak a language, you obviously need to build up your vocabulary. Duh, you need to know words. But the two main problems are these two things. So knowing which words to learn and remembering the new words. Those two things are the problems that you're having. You don't know where to get the words from and you don't know how to remember them, which is probably the bigger of the two problems. So here's how you solve it with the input repetition method, which is what I use to learn new words. So there's two stages to this: input and then repetition, or flashcards basically. So input basically is anything that you could read or listen to. So books, movies, podcasts, audiobooks. Not songs. Songs is one that's probably not that good because songs aren't really written literally, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, books, movies, podcasts, TV, audiobooks, blah, 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 YouTube vlogs, anything like that. That's all input. And that gives you the words you don't know. And then flashcards is basically the best way of memorizing them. You put all the unknown words into flashcards and memorize them. And that is how you learn words. Don't worry, it's not that simple. I'm going to actually explain how to do that, but that is what the input repetition method is. So before I explain how to actually do it properly, the reason this is good is because, one, it allows you to learn important words on topics you enjoy. All of the most common words are found in every topic, so you don't have to worry about them. The reason you should use input that you enjoy is because basically you'll learn words about topics you enjoy, which you're going to talk about more anyway. So yeah, and then the second reason this is good is because flashcards is the best way of memorizing them, and putting all of the words you don't know into flashcards is a really quick and efficient way of memorizing them all. Then you can just go back and read it and you'll understand it perfectly, which will put it into your long-term memory. So yeah. So for the input repetition method, I'm going to explain how I would do this with either reading or listening to something. So take reading books, for example. I like to read. Reading is really good. It doesn't matter if you're reading a book, an ebook, a practice paragraph, literally anything. Basically, what you do is these 4 steps, and it's basically the same 4 steps for listening as well, but we'll start with reading. So extensive reading, where you read a chapter of the book for pleasure. It doesn't have to be a chapter, it could be a paragraph or whatever, but yeah, just a chapter. And extensive reading means reading without focusing on all of the words. So if you were just to read, not skim reading, but you're just reading it. If you don't know a word, you move on. You just read the whole thing without stopping. That's extensive reading, reading for pleasure. Step 2 is to intensively read. So intensively read is the opposite of extensively read, where basically you're picking over words and trying to figure out what they mean and that kind of thing. Once you've extensively read it once, you go back and reread it and you make a list of all of the words you don't know. So say you don't know half of the words in a text, you find every single word you don't know and you write them down in a list. That is step 2. Pretty easy so far. You could easily do step 1, you just read it even if you don't know what all the words are. And then step 2, you put all the words you don't know into a list. How easy is that? Step 3 is memorize. So basically, now that you have the list of words that you don't know, you put all of them into flashcards. I'm going to explain on the next slide how you can actually put them into flashcards, but this is what you do. You put all of them into flashcards and you memorize them, basically by using flashcards, which, as I said, I'll explain in the next slide. And then once you've done that, you can reread and you'll find, hey presto, you can actually probably reread almost the whole thing. Obviously, you're not going to learn every single word straight away, but you'll find you'll be able to reread it and actually understand way, way more, if not everything, of what's actually going on in that text. And it's the same thing for listening as well. So obviously, with movies, you're watching a movie, but as far as the language goes, you don't watch the language, you're listening to the language. So movies, TV, audiobooks, podcasts, vlogs, etc. You watch or listen extensively for pleasure, so you just watch or listen to the whole thing, and then you re-watch it intensively. So ideally, you have the subtitles or some kind of script next to you to kind of help you pick out words, because it can be kind of hard just to pick out words you don't know from listening. But yeah, you find all the things you don't know and you make a list, same as with this one. You put it all into flashcards, same as with this one, and you rewatch it, same as how you'd read this one. If you want with flashcards, you can I mean, I don't really know how you could put sound bites into flashcards. Maybe there is a way of doing that. But I find when you do the flashcards, you just say it out loud to yourself anyway, whether you're reading or listening, and that's just kind of a good way of doing it. So yeah, doing this, no matter which one you use, will let you assemble a larger and larger vocabulary. And I'd obviously recommend you do both because you don't want to be really good at one thing and really crap at everything else. Tips. So flashcards. I said I'd come back to flashcards on the next slide, and I'm keeping my promise. So always use digital flashcards. Is the first thing I'd say. Reason for this is because it's way quicker to type out digital flashcards. Also, you can usually borrow other people. So if you use a website like the one I'm about to say, you can actually search up the language and you can find stacks of flashcards people have already made and just use them. So sometimes you don't even need to make them. Either way, make them digitally because one, they're not going to get destroyed or lost. I mean, you can still do that, but it's going to be less likely. It's just easier to use. You can organize them, you can export them, you can change things. It's way, way easier. Just trust me, just use digital flashcards. It's way better. Personally, I recommend StudyStack, which is, I'll have a link in the description to it. Completely free website. They're not sponsoring me. If you don't believe me, I have 308 subscribers at time of making this video. So no one's sponsoring me or trying to get me to give you stuff that doesn't work. Trust me. So yeah, use StudyStack or whatever you want. It's basically completely free online. You can take other people's flashcard stacks. You can make your own. You can reverse all the flashcards as well. You can do a bunch of things. So yeah, link in the description. Definitely check that out. But any flashcard kind of software is fine. I'm not going to rattle off a list of 10 of them because I just don't care and I don't know that many, to be honest. But yeah, that is basically how you use flashcards. It's completely free. You just go through with the flashcards and you look at them. The first time you go through, you're going to know none of them. And then you go through them a second time and you might know some of them. And you just keep going through and you'll notice that you know more and more. With StudyStack, for example, you can look at the flashcard and you can put it into one of two piles, either the I know this word pile or the I don't know this word pile. Then you can shuffle the I don't know this word pile once you finish the whole stack and re-go through the ones that you don't know. And you can just then put the ones you do know back into the do know pile, and you just keep doing that process until there aren't any cards left in the don't know pile, at which point, of course, you shuffle the whole thing and start again. And that's basically how you learn. Any questions about that, by the way, you're welcome to comment them down below. But that is, have I addressed everything? I just want to double check with the flashcards. Yeah, I'll probably have to make a video on how to actually use flashcards. But yeah, any questions on things I haven't clarified, just put them down below. I'll be able to answer them. As far as the content, how difficult it is, try and start with easier content. Reason for this is because although you can technically do content that's like 95% words you don't know, that's going to absolutely smash your motivation at the start when you kind of need a few easy wins. So I'd recommend you start with content where you know at least half of it. It doesn't really matter the exact amount of what you know and what you don't know. But yeah, try and start easier where you're not like you're not learning some word that would be in a spelling bee because of how long and difficult it is. Just read kids' books, find practice paragraphs online. Yeah, obviously when you start off, it's not going to be watching things you'd watch in English or reading books you'd read in English because you're going to need easier books. I know I said do things you like. That's more when you get a bit more advanced. You're going to have to read some fairy tales and stuff when you're starting off. That's just how it is. If you don't like them as an adult, that's you know, it is what it is. You'll get past it fairly quickly. And yeah, also, yeah, do try and make sure you enjoy the content, particularly when you get better. Don't just read things you hate because you want to learn the words or you think you need to. You can find Wikipedia pages in the language, your target language, on things that interest you. Like I was just reading about Italy's like political system or system of government in Italian, the Wikipedia page, and just putting any words I don't know into Google Translator or you know, just figuring out what they mean. And yeah, learning them, and that interested me reading about it. It interested me reading about it in English, so I just read about it in Italian, and then boom, like I knew all these words that interest me, and I haven't actually had to use them yet, but if it interests you, you will use it inevitably. So yeah, you'll learn all the most common words anyway. I already said that, so you might as well do what you enjoy. That's basically it for tips, guys. So bonus, first person to comment the current biggest challenge below with language learning will get a shout out, and they can pick a video topic if they want. Yeah, that'd be great. If you do have any questions or concerns, please comment them down below. I do always respond. As I said before, I have 308 subscribers at time of publishing this video, so there is no chance I won't see your comment. That said, if you do like this video and this kind of content, please drop a like and subscribe. It does. It makes me feel good about all the effort I do put in just to kind of help people for free. And yeah, it does help the channel as well. And then you get to say that you're part of the first few hundred people in this channel when it inevitably reaches 1 million subscribers. So yeah. Discord in the description as well, guys, if you want to friend me. Happy to talk to you about language learning and help you with that kind of stuff, and my website as well if you want to check it out. But yeah, that's the video. That's a wrap, and have a good one. Thanks, guys.